Hello, Henrik.
Hello, Mariam.
How are you?
How are you? I'm very good.
Fine,
Even
thank
in
you.
quarantine, it's good.
Sorry?
Even in lockdown, it's good.
Yeah, even lockdown is good, and we
Yeah.
can take the opportunity to talk with each other. So it's also it has good points.
The technology helps us a lot in these days, so it's
Yeah,
very good.
it's very good.
Yeah.
Today we will be talking about the practice. We are both studying with Serge Augier in the DaXuan Taoïste Tradition, and you have been studying for a long time. You live in Norway, and right now you are in Oslo. And I wanted first to ask you your how you found Serge, because you were in Norway
Oh,
and
yeah.
Serge is in France. So how did you find the tradition, and Serge, what is your path?
Oh, yeah. It's been or it's close to now 16 years of training.
Wow.
So at the beginning, it was a lot more closed and not as open as it is today. And it's a relatively, I can do the short version of the story because otherwise I can talk for a long time about it. But
You choose.
well, me and my brother, we always, studied martial arts since we were like 5, 6 years old. And we've always been doing that for, all our lives. But our mother lived in China. So that's the first time we came in contact with the Chinese internal arts like Tai Chi, Bagua. But that was in like the mid 90s, like from 96 to 97, 98, if I'm not mistaken. So that's when we started to really look into the internal arts. But still, China is far away, and then when you're a student and stuff, it's difficult to have money to travel. So we sort of kept it up. And then it was like, I think the last time we were in China was in 2003. But then we sort of saw that the teachers and the masters we found were not at the level that we wanted, because we were very interested in the martial arts aspects of these styles. And everybody has heard the stories of how these styles were fighting arts, but when we start to look at it, we didn't really see anybody that sort of brought it to a level that we were convinced, actually. So that was our last trip, and then I was sort of, I was thinking of, should I go back to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, do that, because I love that. That was fun, doing the groundwork and things. And then it was actually just a few months later, my brother picked up the book written by Alex Cosma. The one, it was Esoteric Warriors. And he had been reading it, and he said, you have to, there's this guy. He does some old Chinese boxing style called natural boxing. And, and it was the part about Serge. And I remember, honestly, when I read it, I was like, but I mean, he's French, he's 30 something. I mean, it's, we've been to China, we saw the so-called masters there. How good can he be? Because I was sort of a little bit stopped looking for it.
Okay, skeptic.
Yeah, because we saw the people that were supposed to be good.
Okay.
And weren't that impressed. But Henning had this feeling, so we just tried to get in touch with Serge. And I remember it was, we found this old website, and we emailed him quite a few times before he answered. I remember, and then he said, come for 2 days. So in the old times, that's 16 years ago, we had private teachings with him. So we came down for the weekend. So this was in April 2004. So, and then we came down for 2 days. I remember that, when we came into his apartment, and we were like, if he is not a tough guy, we always have Paris.
We go back to Norway.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny afterwards when we said, we wanted to do the fighting stuff and everything. And I think it took about 10 minutes of a beating. And then we were like, okay, this is something completely different. And we were blown away, actually. And then, so that's how it sort of started. And it sort of shocked me, I remember in the beginning, because I was more like going from sort of looking for those arts and everything, and then suddenly finding someone who was exceptional at it. And then you go, okay, I have to make a choice. I have to either dive in or I have to not dive in. But I really felt that I didn't have a choice. I was sort of going, but I have to, because this is the thing I've been looking for. So I have to just dive in and see where it goes. And at that point in time also, since the school was a lot more, I would say, closed, he didn't really mention meditation or the Shengong or the Neidan or anything. It took actually quite a long time, or maybe a year or something. And then I think it was after the first 2 years, we went to a seminar where we started learning a little bit of, or had the introduction of Neidan and Shengong. So in the beginning, it was just Tai Chi, Xing Yi, and Bagua training, a lot with just lots of application and fighting stuff for quite a long time. And then we sort of started to dive in. And then we got even deeper into it when we did the year of Kung Fu, the isolation of the year of training.
Yeah, 1 year, full year training.
Yeah.
Full time.
Full time, from morning to the sun goes down, and nothing else. But even that was sort of when he mentioned it. I remember he mentioned it after a few years that there's a special training you can do. You do a year of training, but he didn't say anything else. But me and Henning, my brother, and Arne, we were all just like, we have to do it. We don't know what we're going to, but we just have to do it. And then it sort of just took quite a few years to save up and do those things. And then, after that, everything is history, I think.
Wow. So there was this moment when you chose, and then how did you stay motivated to practice every day and go on?
In the beginning, it was because I was used to training a lot, but I was training maybe 4 or 5 days a week. But you still had, days off, you didn't do anything. So I remember in the beginning, it was a little bit, you have to set your mind to it. But I was used to training. So for me, the transition, it just made I had to look at my priorities. And the beginning, you had to push yourself a little bit, of course, because you have to get into the habit. And then sometimes I had, you overdo things. You plan for so much training and you do it, but then you realize you have to change it a little bit because you can't, because you have an ordinary life too.
Balance, keep a balance,
Yes. So the transition was actually more for me because from a background of training, I would say classical physical training with running, hang-ups, push-ups, and doing all that stuff. I remember in the beginning, it was a transition of going from that type of training to the soft training, where you, in the beginning, you sort of feel weaker. You feel actually worse in the beginning. And then this drop, then after some time, depending, on how much you train and everything, you start off going up and you start to increase. But I remember that transition period going from this hard physical training to this training was just being accustomed to and trusting the training, trusting the changing that was coming. Because in the beginning you felt weaker, you felt worse. And you start to go, and then you started asking, and Sarah said, just relax, just just continue doing it. And then after some time, you realize that, oh yeah, and then you start feeling it because you play with other people, and then you see, oh yeah, okay, stuff is changing, and then you start trusting it because you have the experience of it, and then you just go, really. But also
differently.
Yeah.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different, and then you start, because we just did physical in the beginning, only physical training for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
But then when you started doing Shengong, the meditation and the breath work with Nedab, then you started seeing even bigger changes. And then it was easy, I would say easier in a sense, because then you saw even more effects it had on you. Things you didn't think about that suddenly disappeared, you thought were sort of part of you. And then suddenly after a while you go, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay.
Great.
Yeah. So it's the motivation comes more and more from just the effect of the practice on yourself than wanting to be strong or wanting to fight and stuff. Of course, it's still in the back of the head there.
Yeah.
but the motivation and the reason why you practice change.
Yeah, of course. Yes. And also at one point you said trust the training. It's very interesting because sometimes you can't see the effects on day 2, and as you said, sometimes the effects you're like, oh, I'm not as strong as before, what's happening? But if you trust the training, then there is more to come.
Yeah. and I think that is for people is maybe some of the reasons why it's difficult to start or continue, because they want immediate effects, and the effects are there but you don't see them.
Yeah.
But it's sort of, you have to start, even say with the mind work, the mind, you have to start to relax. If I'm tightening my fist too much, then it's difficult to feel anything else but the tension. But when this starts to relax and you start to open, then you can start feeling more. And I think there's people a little bit on the thing that they want immediate gratification.
Yeah. And also sometimes they don't get the effect they wanted. You know, that's why we also talk about practicing with not waiting something special, because sometimes you won't get what you were waiting for, you get something else, which is good too. But also there is sometimes this friction.
Yeah, because you have I would say more a fantasy of what it is. Your expectations are different because if you just read about meditation in a magazine, then you have your expectation of meditation, what it is. And then people, oh yeah, but I should stop thinking, I should always be like super calm and everything. But in the truth of it, you might not feel that way in the beginning when you meditate. And you will have days that are not that easy to do it.
Yeah. And how did you what was your impression in practicing the Shendan and the Negong, the breathing part and the mind part? Because this you were not so used. You were very used to practice the body, but not so used to the other work. How did it go in your daily life?
I would say I saw the biggest effects. Well, there were small things all the time, but I will say that after I did the Kung Fu the year, and then digesting these things, then I saw the really huge benefits of the training, especially with the breath work and the emotional aspects. Because I had I had this idea before, at least, that emotions, we just push them down.
Okay.
Just keep a lid on them and push them down. That's a good strategy.
Okay.
But that's like a pressure cooker. At some point, you have to take the lid off And that's sort of in the beginning with the Shengong and the Neidan that it started to open the lid.
Okay.
So it wasn't very comfortable.
At first.
Not at all. So in the beginning it was a little bit overwhelming.
Okay.
And then you start thinking, oh yeah, but is it working? I'm feeling even worse than I did. But no, it's because you pressured everything down and you keep it hidden. And then you start releasing and you start relaxing the tension, and then it starts to bubble up. And then all sort of history comes up. So for me, when that started happening, then it was sort of you of course you start questioning a little bit because it's so much overwhelming. But I remember talking to Serge about it, and he said, yeah, just relax about it. This is good. This is really good, actually. So then when you start accepting that you will have periods where everything feels really bad, but there is nothing in your life that should suggest that it's a bad time. And then you start accepting that, yeah, there's nothing around me. I have good food, I have good friends, I have family, I have everything actually that I need. So this is just something that it's a process of letting go.
Okay.
So that's where I saw, for me, the biggest things and how I emotionally, or how I deal with emotions in a more relaxed and calm manner these days, I would say. I mean, we all are different and we deal with things in different ways. But the practice sort of brings you to closer to a stable equilibrium where things, of course, you have all your ordinary emotions because you don't become a robot, but
Yeah.
you accept them more. You develop a sense of humor that is a little bit dark sometimes.
You see more truly yourself, doing
Yes.
things and thinking things and living things.
Yeah. I think that is many of the fantasies people go around with, especially with the practice. No, it doesn't matter which tradition it is in, but is that you will become, after just a very short time, this holier than thou person, and everything is just. No, it's not true. It's just how the way you deal with them, how you deal with your emotions, how you deal with your thoughts.
Yeah. And we all have a daily life. Like you work, you have a work, you have colleagues, you have things to do every day, maybe pressure, but you have your daily life to handle. And how did you see any effect on your how to handle your daily life, like in your work, for example? Did you see things change?
Oh yeah, it's quite a lot, or it's because I work in finance and I've been doing that for the last 12, 13 years now. And that can sometimes be quite hectic, you know. You have to earn the money for the company. But for me, I see that especially it's about this seeing things that you can do, or if you have a problem, you see easier, can I do something with it? If I can't, then I see that I relax more about it. If there is something I can do, then I try to do it. But I see that under pressure, especially in a lot of periods, and also the period we're in now, that you see people get very stressed. But it's more my colleagues that tell me. They say, "Oh, you're so relaxed." Yeah, but what can I do? It's sort of course, you have periods where you get more tension because there's lots of things that you have to do. But then you know that I have my practice. As long as I do my practice, this tension and this stress will, let go. And I also think it's also this that you start seeing the things in life that are more important, even the small things. Just enjoying having a calm evening, not needing to do too many things, relaxing, having some good food, just talking to some friends. I mean, you start enjoying more the simple things.
Because you're not taken by so many pressure, stress, emotion. So you can open a kind of a window on happy things, little things.
And I think that is really important, especially in these days when we're locked up at home.
Yeah.
We can't go out. It's just seeing it's not thinking positive. It's just seeing the good small things that you have that are nice. You know, even now I'm at home sitting in my couch drinking a coffee and having a nice conversation. I mean, it's good. It's nothing.
Life is good.
Yeah. So I think that is also one of the bigger things, that you start enjoying the
Yeah.
smaller things. And I think that is important because even on the most hectic and stressful days, the stress or the pressure is not constant.
Yeah.
It's not the same level all day through. It sometimes go out. You have to go and have something to eat. You have to go take a lunch. You have to take a break. And then you always see these good moments through the day where you can relax and everything. So I think that's one of the bigger changes, seeing these things and how to just accept the things you can't change, and then just the things you can do something with, you do it.
Yeah, also,
Yeah.
because sometimes you can't take actions. Sometimes you see what you can do and you don't do it, so it's another good effect.
Yeah. And I think today is a good example again that you know, when how many % of the world is in lockdown or have to be at home.
Yeah.
Then I can't do anything with that, but then you try to find the freedom in this constrained world. You see, okay, this is my frame of how I can act.
Okay.
But there's so much I can do within a day.
Yeah. And sometimes we complain, I'm not enough in my home, didn't find time to look at my photos, or I don't know, study something, Spanish.
Yeah.
Now we have time.
Yeah. We have all the time.
We don't have like the underground time, or the car time when you go to work. We don't have those times anymore, and we can practice more if we choose to practice, or cook. Sometimes we don't have time to cook, as you said, in the frame of what we can do. There are many things we can do.
Yeah, and also today, I mean, it's so easy to learn something new with the internet today. You know, you can pick up something that you, as you said, you wanted to do, you can do it. I mean, but that's what I think is so good with the practice, that everything has this coherency in what you learn. Everything is intertwined. There is nothing separate in the practice. If you study feng shui or if you study the Shandong, or everything is connected, and everything is, so all the things you learn in the beginning, it might feel a little bit frustrating because it seems not to be connected. And then after all the years of practice, you see, oh, this is this, and then you have this vast knowledge that comes from Serge with all the things we can learn, that sort of you can learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So
good for the brain, for your life, to be an eternal student.
Yeah.
Study forever something new. And go on, and also I find sometimes the things I have seen in the beginning, I have a moment like, wow. 10 years after. I open my little notebooks and I from 10 years earlier. Sometimes we think, oh, I have seen this already, I know already. But this is wrong. We always have to keep studying back the basics and deeper. We go deeper, in fact. We don't study the same. I don't know if you feel the same.
No, but it's like with I think it's the Chinese medicine, especially, maybe even more, that the first year you go, what the hell am I learning? And your mind goes, no. And then as you progress, not just with the Chinese medicine, but all the things you learn around it, and then you go back to the first year. And I remember even saying that on the first year, that the first year is almost the most important. And then when you go back to it, now you go, oh yeah, of course, I understand it even more now.
Everything is in it. And
Yeah, and I think it's the. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, but it's also this. I would say with the practice that some pieces seem so simple, but then they have this in the simplicity. They have this tremendous depth of understanding.
Yeah.
As you said, that's why you have to go back, because you have to go back and see what was the basic thing, and then you see the depth of that basic thing. And also, it's sort of is endless.
Yeah, it's endless. We can
Yeah.
speak forever. It's good.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I know you are sharing some exercises and practices in among your colleagues right now.
Yes.
And what would you say that helped them the most to start with?
I think it is the I teach them once a week now, and then I do this the 3 practices of the physical, the breath, and the mind. And because in the beginning I wanted it to be like people could come by and have a taste, so I wanted to have the 3 separate parts in one training. And I think for most people, or the people I talk to, that they start to have a reconnecting to themselves, even if it feels positive or if it feels negative. They start feeling that, oh yeah, I feel this a little bit better. And then some people, oh, I don't like the Shandong, the mind work, because my mind is, yeah, but rather than you see, sometimes they might not see the effects themselves, but you start seeing how they move, how even if the things I show are very fundamental, and the simple stuff, since I need to have people could just drop in, I see even with that you see their posture is changing, you see how they sit, and you start already seeing things. But I have people say they really like it, so they're coming back. So I'm trying now on this week a live session via Skype.
Adapting.
Yes, and then we will see how that works. But I think it will be good. Yeah, so it's a good thing, and especially in the industry I work in finance and stuff, that
Yeah.
people are very stressed.
Yeah.
And it's this understanding of if I do more work, the more efficient I am.
Okay.
So the mind works like, but I mean, that's in many places, but
Yeah.
they think too much, and I think if I work even more, then it should be better.
Yeah.
But actually, I think that you can cut down a lot more on your work hours and be more efficient in those hours that you work and have more time to rest. So when you actually work, your mind is more relaxed and not very tense like this.
Interesting. We talk a lot about the balance between resting and working.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this in these days, as you said, we tend to, well, we have all these people that are burning out.
Yeah.
Because they go further and further and out of their limits. So, as you say, it's interesting to say sometimes you rest more and you are more efficient.
Yeah. But you're efficient in a good way.
Yeah.
Because efficiency sometimes can be misunderstood.
Yeah, you're right. Not staying.
But I say it's the good efficiency. You spend your time doing what you need to do, and then you relax, you do other things, So working 13, 14 hours a day is not good in the long term. And that's the problem, I think, with the mental mind, it is the problem that it doesn't give you any feedback when you're tired until you sort of, as you say, you burn out and you crash. Yeah. So at my company now, I'm also working with a group that we're looking at how to make the cultural environment in the company support people.
Yeah.
They call it sustainability. Oh, you talk about sustainability for the planet, but then you also see how can a company be more sustainable to their coworkers.
Yeah.
So this is quite a lot that's coming into the company I'm working in now. So they're trying to look at, how can we also make sure that the coworkers or the employees are in good health, both physically and mentally, and that they have the support that they need to have a very good work environment.
Yeah.
So I'm in this group now, so we're starting to look at different things of how a company can function better.
Ah, it's great.
So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it makes changes everywhere. We need things to, and the awareness of some things.
Yeah.
Our bodies are not immortal.
No.
Well, in some way can be, but we understand each other. That we have limits. We have limits and work limits, and yeah, we need to.
And as you said, with the limits, I think that's a good thing, because it's what the practice brings is this understanding of our limits, both physically, mentally, and I would say energetically, in the sense of having enough energy to do the things you need. That you start feeling, oh yeah, no, I'm actually starting to get mentally tired.
Yeah.
I don't need to push myself now. Now I actually need to take a break, relax, and pull back.
Yeah.
So I also see that is one of the good things about the practice, that it really gets you into a sense of how your body works, how your mind works, and how your energy levels are. So you see that, oh yeah, now I'm actually too much.
Yeah.
I'm pushing it too much. I'm draining myself too much. I have to take a few steps back and relax.
Yeah. Relax.
Yeah.
We also relax. We practice a lot, but we also relax.
Oh yeah, it's important. And do silly stuff sometimes too. Yeah, not always being, I'm a good practitioner. Everybody wants to be a good practitioner, but we have to do silly stuff as well. Because I have a son, he's 14 now, my son. So then, I have to do silly stuff too.
With him.
Yeah. Which is fun.
We have to live.
Yeah, it's very important.
We die.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it would be too late.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, thank you very much, Henrik. Did you want to add something? Did you have something you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we got to talk about quite a lot of things.
Yeah, it's great.
It was very nice talking to you again. It's been a long time since we've seen each other physically.
Yeah,
in person.
Thanks.
But
technology, it's great.
Yeah.
And thank you.
No, I think it's for people. For the only thing maybe for people listening is, or that will look at this is, if you're curious, just get in touch with any of the schools or just start. I mean, there is nothing to lose anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's just start connecting with the schools around the world and start the training and just take it from there, and then take it baby steps, step by step. Just enjoy the training. I think that will be the most important thing.
Yeah, and we are all different with different jobs, and that's the point with these interviews. We are different ages, gender, and the jobs. As you said, you work in finance, and other people work in other industries and other kind of jobs. So yeah, anybody can start practicing.
Oh yeah, it's good for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Henrik, for accepting and sharing so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And it was very nice talking to you again.
Yeah, me too. Take care.
And we'll talk soon. Take care. Huh?
Yeah,
and stay safe in these times.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye, Henrik.
Bye.
Bye.